Hello, this is Sean Mullery from Electronic Engineering at IT Sligo, and in this lesson we're going to continue to look at the struct. What we're going to do is we're going to make a second employee struct so if you haven't looked at the previous video on the struct intro video, I want you to look at that first. But here what we're going to do is we're going to make a second employee. So we're going to struct. And I'm going to call this employee Fergal. And this is a fictitious employee and is not anybody you might have heard of. So instead of initializing the Fergal employee here, like I did with the Sean Mullery employee, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we can initialize parts of it later if we want to, just in the same way as you could have wrote something like int x here and then down below said x is assigned 12. Okay, so in the same way as that, or as I say, like the previous one, we could have said x is assigned 12 there. So there are the two ways of initializing it. What we can do is we can just say Fergal dot sorry, I've moved my cursor. Fergal dot first name is assigned Fergal, like that. Okay, so as I said, this is a completely fictional character nobody would have heard of. And he's coming close to retirement. We're going to put him at 64, this guy. And dot gender, we'll keep him as a male. And finally, his hourly salary. Okay, so he's going to be very well paid, this guy. We're going to put him on €30.50 per hour. Okay. Now, just the same as the printfs that we had here. To print them out, what I can do is I can print out all the details of this second one. Got to change all these the names of these ones to Fergal. And you're probably thinking to yourself, wouldn't it be great if we had a function that could go and do this, and we didn't have to type out the different names for the different people in order to get it to print out. So we will be looking at that sort of thing later on. Okay, so I'm just going to put an extra /n here just to make sure that these are separated by a space, and we'll just execute that. And I've got a mistake there. There's my mistake. I must change my syntax highlighting because I can't quite see it when it comes up. Incompatible types when assigning type car, 20 from type car. Okay, so my mistake, or my compiler here, if we look at it, is incompatible types when assigning type character 20 from type character. So I'm slightly jumping ahead of myself here with the way I was doing that, because I can do that with pointers to arrays, but I can't do it with the array itself. So I'll come back to that later on, but don't concern yourself too much with it for the minute. But the way I should write this is use the string copy function. So dot first name, like this, sorry, string copy Fergal.firstname. That's your destination, and your source is Fergal. As a piece of text, close it and do that. See, this is what you have to do with the strings. Now the likes of the integer and the character, they're perfectly fine, but it's with the arrays that we have an issue. And as I said, it's not. We have kind of quicker ways of doing it if we're dealing with a pointer. Okay, so you can do it that way. Just copy in the characters, and we'll save that and run it. Okay. So the second employee's name is Fergal Henry. Employee is 64 years old, and employee's gender is male. Hour salary €30.50. Okay. So that's how you can do that. Do some of those, initialize it in a different way. And what we can always do is later on as well, you can just look at an individual element. So just before we type out the details for Fergal, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say is assigned. I'm going to give him a pay rise. He's going to go up to €35.20. And you'll see that that's the only part that we've modified. We haven't gone and modified any of the other parts. And you can see that his hourly salary has been updated to €35.20, as long as we did it just before we printed it out. And obviously, if we were printing out for a second time or anything like that, we could have done that in that way as well. So so that's how to modify individual elements of structs, and also how to initialize them if you don't initialize them at the point that you define them.